Hello. Today I wanted to give you all a quick update on what the housing market is doing. But you know, what the housing market is actually doing. Unfortunately, that is not always the type of information we are seeing for a wide variety of topics. People love to sell you nonsense information, but I love data, and I especially love data from valid and reputable sources. A few things I don't love are fear-mongering, clickbaiting, and really any form of garbage BS, especially when it comes to real estate and the impact that information could make on someone's immediate health and wealth, along with the overall betterment of their future. Because of that, I wanted to provide a data-driven update to the housing market, where I am doing the majority of my business. So in the cities that I'm doing the majority of my business, I will share those cities that this data is being generated from so you have a clear understanding and full transparency. All of this information is coming from Netris, which is the MLS or multiple listing service that I use and that all realtors should be using when providing information about the housing market. If you are getting information from someone that does not utilize data from one or many reputable sources, you might not be getting accurate data. Or at the worst, you might simply be getting an uneducated opinion. Okay, so here we go. One thing that has been stirring around in the rumor mill is that home prices are dropping. The housing market crash of 2023 is inevitable. Spooky times. All the pricing gains that we saw over the last 12 to 24 months, it's evaporating before our eyes. Because of that, this is a great time to sit back, wait, swoop in with insultingly low offers, and the sellers will be grateful if the buyer doesn't ask for $10,000 in concessions. So, let's see what the data is actually showing us. You'll see here, I first wanted to start with what has happened in the last 3 months. So I pulled numbers from the last 3 full months, and I also included what is happening in January as of this year. So you'll notice on this slide, it's not really looking that scary. So that's good. Typically home sales will lag a little bit in the months of October, November, and December, but the prices are already ticking back up in January. And to look at data without rose-colored glasses on, the prices dipped right around 5% within that time frame. So overall in January, they're almost back to where they were in October. So okay, crisis averted on that one. The sky doesn't seem to be falling just yet. But Brandon, that's only for the last 3 months. What about the last year? You're not giving us enough information. That would give us more historical data and prove that prices have shifted. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Prices are looking pretty good. If we focus on a 12-month time frame in January of 2022, the average home price was just above $578,000. Now it's just above $659,000. That sounds like the exact opposite of what I keep hearing the mainstream news say and from so-called experts. What is that? Almost a 15% increase in home values over 12 months? So while interest rates are higher in this time frame than they were in most of those months. If you remember, interest rates didn't really start increasing until about June, July of 2022, and then they got a little out of hand in the fall months, with some days the rates being at or near 8%. Okay, we can take a deep breath, right? Well, Brandon, what about the list price compared to what the price actually sold for? Okay. That would actually be an extremely valid data point to consider. So let's see. Wow. All right, we look at it. Good news. The sales price compared to the original list price month over month is 102.7%. Now we might need to be concerned about the massive dip, I'm joking here, over the last 3 months when the percentage dropped to just barely over 98%. Those numbers are still really strong. So prices are holding steady based on factual data. That's the key point I'm really needing to emphasize here. But I do have a couple more items I want to share that I believe can be valuable when considering buying or selling. The first one is the days on market, or DOM. So go into this next slide. This is a data point that has changed quite a lot over the last few months and greatly changed over the last year. But what does that really mean? Well, simply put, houses are staying on the market longer. They're not getting under contract in 2 to 3 days like we saw at the peak of the seller's market 12 plus months ago. Does anybody remember the property descriptions that would go something like this? Best and highest by Sunday at 7 p.m. If you would like your offer to be taken seriously or even considered, you must include a full appraisal waiver. Those were scary times. Most of the listings I saw had this verbiage included in the description within 24 hours of the home being active on the market. It was insane. I think those days are behind us. We're seeing an average days on market around a little over 60. That is a big difference. Lastly, I want to show whether or not we are in a buyer's or a seller's market. I'm hearing a lot of discussion about being in a very strong buyer's market. You can negotiate anything you want. The seller should be lucky to sell their house right now. Well, let's see. All right, so this data is only showing halfway through January, but if we take the numbers for the first half of the month and double that, we're going to see that number being very close to what it was in December and November, maybe even slightly higher. So what does that mean for the market? When considering the health of the market, we break it down into months over inventory. Typically, a healthy or balanced market is one where there is 6 to 9 months of inventory. So where are we at today? It looks like we're just still under 5 months of inventory. Now, if we're below the health threshold, what does that mean? Well, by definition, it means we are still slightly in a seller's market. I know we like to change definitions to fit certain narratives at times, but for my sanity, we're going to stick with what we know to be true up until this point. What does all of this mean for the housing market? Well, it means statistically speaking, we are not in or heading towards a housing market crash. Sorry, I'm not sorry, but that's a good thing. It means that prices are remaining steady with a slight dip that recently occurred in the winter months. It also means that it is taking longer to sell homes. Is there a silver lining there for buyers, but also a valid assumption that now is still a good time to sell? I think so. Everybody, for more information like this in the future, subscribe to the channel or reach out to me directly at either brandonkalerrealestate@gmail.com or 979-541-7937. Talk again soon.